Hello and welcome. As today's date is that of Monday, 16th of September 2019. My name is Derek. All bets, trades, and of the like, within each his own risk and their own reward. If you would have told me back in, say, 2008 or the year 2009 timeframe that there could be markets like this, that you could fully trade and, well, imagine a stock that goes from $69.40. And then over a quick period of time, but not that quick, rallies up to 71 and a half, or about two bucks. That's oh, I can do that math, 3%. And that was normal volatility I was used to back in 2008 and 9 from, of course, traditional markets still playing out today. And that's what these markets can do. And the fact that it's here, well, that's just an amazing thing. And then, of course, one of the reasons I'm saying that, or a few of those reasons rather, is that one, while with the cryptocurrencies compared to stock markets and a lot of other ventures, you actually can control the funds that you hold. Where if you have funds in like E-Trade or whatever platform to trade stocks, you are trusting somebody holding your fiat currency. And there's just so many measures I can say about that. But even the fact, oh, they have like $5, $10, $20 trades. Well, what I like about stuff like this, you have minimum trade sizes on exchanges that aren't that high, and fees that are extremely small. That, oh, I want to play for a 2% gain or a 3% move, and really with the fees, even play for half percent, quarter, three quarters, whatever percent moves. Of course, 1/4 is really out of reach within the 1 minute term time frame, and that's just a cool thing. And there's a few other ones, but that's how the market conditions are. And now I'm thinking, oh, here we are, Litecoin. It got past the 70 number, and you're like, yeah, the 70, and that's just a small handle number, as it's at the lower end, as we'll be seeing very soon on the long term. But within the 1 minute, having this good move, consolidating it for a very good long time, and having two different legs lower. As the first one occurred, obviously here, with three times it came over, but two in particular, with one being the first, and then the lift off to what just ended up being yet another hit. And after a significant time of not being anywhere near where it was unable to support it, but it was definitely able to resist it to uh, create a failed breakdown. And a failed breakdown is when it breaks down a significant level, goes down, makes a key low relatively quickly, and it took a little time, but not that long, to get back to the congestion area. Now, in this period here, it was just looking like it might do that, but it had to get above this level of resistance because, well, that was previous support, and well, that would be what you would expect if it's continuation downtrend. Is you have a key low, key high, key low, key high, and then key low, wherever that low would be. But obviously, with this going on here, that just did not take place, and instead I see the continuation. And over the time frame of 1941 or 7:41 p.m. Eastern time, up until 56 minutes after, that's 3 minutes ago, that this thing is looking to probably go up and have another leg higher, at least somewhere partially way up to the previous high. And then you talk about to the high, making new highs. Let's take a look at a different time frame. Let's go 15 minutes. And we got above 70, as I said, and that's where we got above 70. And the price action, as you can see, 67, 65 handle. So I mentioned a market that went up that fast. And well, again, if you told me back in 2008, okay, yeah, or 2009, oh, these things, 1,400 hours on yesterday. Okay, okay, yeah, 2 o'clock, yeah, that's a trading time. The price action of this ABC stock, well, we'll call it LTC actually. It was 67.79. Oh, okay. And then what's going to happen is at 20 hours or 8 p.m., it's going to have a nice rise. Oh, after hours. Yeah, okay, whatever. And then it's going to have a big move. And it's just going to consolidate all the way up to about 69 and a third. And it's going to stay there all through the night and will never stop. And of course, that means markets never stop. And that's another amazing thing that these markets have, especially in a world where everyone works in different times and lives upon different times. Even doesn't even matter if you live in Australia or in Asia or in Europe and any parts of North America. Maybe you have a life where you are living whatever time is convenient for you. You can do a lot of this type of trading stuff. But anyway, on to the technical analysis. It's having these amazing moves going from like 68 now to 71, and of course they'll get larger. We can see that the price action on this play came back to a multiple hit level of resistance, not quite making it up here, but obviously correcting very successfully amongst this point and breaking a key level, huge move. This price action comes back down to the lows, and within what we're seeing here over this period, including the last couple, does show to me that this thing, exitation of the 18, this thing's ready to go. We're at 71.08. We should be at 72. Maybe by the completion of this video. I mean, you know how much time's left. I know we're at the 6 minute mark now, and I know it's going closer to 20 or more. So to try to make it as quick as possible, let's move it on next to the hourly. And it's just not breaking out nicely above this high right now. And now we're going back to the lows of 66. We went from 66 to 71. That's about 7-8%. And well, stocks did that too over a week or so. You'd have some, those are volatile weeks nonetheless, but they occurred several hits near this bottom on the low 66 number. And then it ended up having this resistance we can see in here. Another one. And as of now, highs and lows are out known after the fact. It's either going to be, we got a high here, which isn't looking all that probable the way this is breaching up. Or, if I'm looking at trying to put lines in the right spots at key levels, because every single time it makes a move, well, where was the next key point? Well, in here, if we're in a situation like this, yeah, I think I still count that high. I still, but the bottom line, what it's telling me is it looks like, okay, we got key high 1, key high 2, key high 3. Are we going for a key high 4? It looks to me there's a good chance that it's doing it. So even though it is overextended on the 18, because it's well above it, it's up really high, several legs higher. With this move that has passed, well, that's the one that we've been seeing short term. That's telling me that this move isn't over yet, and we're just going to keep going higher. Let's take a look at this next on the 8-hour. And there's really no point right now, unless price changes big in the next few seconds, in putting a line where I want to, because that line is where that green line is, current price. It's at that key level, and we can see 1, 2, 3, all of this support. And then we have the breakdown here. We have one level of support here, another leg lower, another leg lower, and before that leg we had this resistance matching this, and we're back to this again. This is as prototypical, other than the only thing that stops this from being a prototypical inverted head and shoulders pattern, and I'm still counting it as such, is the fact that this high didn't come to the line. Because it's like this, this, and this. Good enough. I mean, the whole thing is on the head and shoulders pattern, at least for the inverted side, why it's such a strong pattern is because you're obviously in some sort of downtrend when you made that last low, which is where the bottom would be for the head. And in order to get up to the shoulder neckline, you'd have to have a very good move. So whether the fact that it was here or not on this move now becomes irrelevant. But the fact that it had the move that was able to get back to this big key level like this, well, that was a good rally. But when you have a good rally, and I say this so many times in my videos, okay, you got to hold where you came from, hold on the 18. Well, this is showing holding on the 18. This is showing exitation right now after leaving that 18. So and the next set that one has to happen when you're starting the completion of the right shoulder, the process was to get to the neckline, have a successful higher low correction, and then get to the neckline. But it isn't the pattern, there's really multiple ways. Well, when do I get into how do you play this? Well, there's multiple ways. One of the ways is as it's breaking out here, which is basically buying it now. And for the most part, it was buying it at a little cheaper, but not much cheaper, like 69, 80 to the 70 number. Now it's at 71. But clear break above. You see this thing get to like 72, 73 handle? Yeah, let's just see how much higher thereafter it gets after that point. Next chart is the daily, which brings us back to that wicked, we'll call it the wicked move. And you know, volatility of this level can be very profitable. So if you were talking about this type of move of going from 180 down to 65 or area, 65 area, 3x move down. Wow, it's pretty big. I'd have a hard time digesting those moves, and I did when Bitcoin first came out. But and this is nothing compared to when Bitcoin first came out, but still, it's still something. So from this high, kilo, key high, kilo, key high, kilo, all of these legs lower. There has been, and this was a tremendously original first. So in fact, I could even just say, just because I can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs lower. And of course, this high, and yeah, what happened after every high? This came here, lower than this. From this one, well, this was much lower than that. This was lower than that. This was lower than that. Right now, we're still working on this one. And right now, this is lower than that. And that tells us that on the first break of that inverted head and shoulders pattern, in here, breaking that resistance, that the first target line is to get to this, because that's just a step in the right direction, is to just get to a matching high after matching high and a lower and a higher low. You need to just do things like that in the reversal of these trends. And every time you set up like this situation here, just a long attempt to try to revert the trend and try to even get it going, and it failed, obviously. And doing stuff like getting up here and pulling back, well, you can create another head and shoulders pattern, because you can be left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Now, that's something that could happen. And that's just another way of stating that in order to even to start to give this any credentials that this is ready to fill some of this empty space, that we at least got to get above here and do that of a higher high. And let's now move on to the next time frame. But I'm going to change the exchange because this is Binance, and they don't have as much data as Poloniex does. But Binance is better for shorter term moves because of the higher volume they have. And within the triple day, which represent each one of these candles represents 3 days of trading or 72 hours, you have your moves up and down. They become wild. From this move lower, it pretty much was where we are now. We went a little lower, obviously, with this extra push here. But the move is from the 70 handle close to 20. It started this run on December the 9th, and well, every single day counts. There's no weekends off. Another thing to say in 2008-09 yet, no weekends off on this. Okay, cool, interesting. And then December 9th up to April 4th. That's about 4 months almost. A 4 month run, and the price near triples. Now, originally, you made the higher low, but you expect that because when you have all of these legs higher, the definition of trend of higher highs and higher lows at immaculate levels, like multiple amounts, like we see here, 100% expect to make a higher low, and well, there's your higher low. But the bull trend wasn't able to continue with the ultimate failed breakout that occurred, getting above the 18 average of highs. There's not holding too well, not supporting where you came from here, thus making a new low, resisting where you came from, new low, and then new low. And this is now the first time since here that we were even into this 18. And we're on period number three of doing so. And this is the first attempt to even get to the 18 average of highs, which is still steadily declining. But as stated, they go up fast and down fast. For before, that was the same case here. It was just going down fast, and it took a little bit of time. The first time it attempted it took a while, but it still was able to do it. But when they have their moves, they can be huge, and we can see in here that this it's been common for the market to have those kinds of moves. So at any time, it can just go. So when these things go up and we're seeing these short-term, intermediate-term rallies go up 70, maybe they go up to like 78, 80, 90, even up to any of those levels. That could either be a big move on their time frames, which is like the 3 hour, 8 hour, and even the daily having a monster move. But in this, just really not doing much at all, just having small little bits of play. But these things have the potential to have monster moves, and it's going to affect the short term in two ways. And monster moves is really getting above anything around in here. Because anything like this is just, would be, you can consider that either a bear market rally, or forming neutrality and establishing a resistance on the neutrality would be, or another way of saying sideways range, and then developing, establishing resistance for it. But getting above here, there's really two elements you want to look for. Number one is the stair step kind of move, where like we stated, it took like 4 months for it to make this move with all these higher highs and higher lows. And in the short term, you're going to just see decent days. But then you got the second kind, where it just totally destroys it so fast. And, well, that would look something like that. And before that happened, we could see, oh, what was a bullish move to say that it was going to go long? It was just time to go long that day. And I don't know what it would be, so I can't say. Because I don't know. Regarding this on the weekly chart, we've seen this low here in at the end of 2016, about 60% lower than where we are now at the 31 handle. Oh yeah, speaking about those monstrous moves, doing things like that, charts that look like this, it's interesting to say the least, but a lot of the choppiness, low, high, and then even this, yeah, low, high, low, all of these moves. When you came down this low, there really wasn't much, but I ended up making it to this low, this high, this low, this high, and then now wherever this low happens to be. And so we're at this major area of key support. Hit once, twice, now a third time. Haven't been there since, of course, and that's if we do go there, since the rally from the end of, or start of 2017. But if you break this, you'd expect a decent sized handle lower. And that's really the only bits that I had. If you can ignore this to me never happened. Do not ignore this did happen. And then this was just a case of extreme low volatility at the start of the exchange. But these things have all of these moves the same. All the declines, this decline looks the same as like this, they're practically about the same. So from this decline, we have this high. Huge decline, and then huge move, so second huge move. And every single one of these rallies that we are getting are pretty, they're wicked. And I'm trying to use what word, I'm thinking of a Saturday Night Live sketch, which wicked cool. I don't know what it was. I don't even know what the series was. It was from the late 80s, early 90s. But I'm trying to think of something that comes to my head and then trying to say it like that. And that bye that I say at the end of videos, that came from that Saturday Night Live with David Spade and another girl that was on the show. They were in an airplane as flight attendants, escorting the people out of the plane. And when they were escorting them out, they were saying bye bye. That was I liked it. It was kind of funny. Anyway, key high, and it came from a big move. This move, wild, decisively, that nice move here, and that was the last one. So when the next one happens, whether it comes from here, whether it comes from here, whether it comes from here, it's probably going to be yet another decisive move one way or another. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye. Bye bye. You can leave now. The video is over. Bye bye.